Hi, everybody. It's Christina, Quick the Tarot Biz Mentor here from the Profitable Psychic Online Divination and Business Academy. And if you're psychic, then you probably know that you probably see the world in a different way than most people. And that may become more and more obvious to you as you grow your psychic abilities and become more confident in them. So today I want to talk about 3 radical ways that psychics perceive the world differently, that people who don't have psychic abilities tend to not look at it this way. So, the first one is that perception is everything, and everything has meaning and everything has significance, right? So, psychics are translators. They're translators of the natural world, of the unnatural world, right? So, psychics communicate their intuitive abilities through the use of symbols, metaphors, similes, right? And so psychics tend to look outside themselves for different types of symbols and signs and omens. For example, many psychics use animals as power symbols, or many psychics can use other things such as flowers or herbs or really anything. Even some psychics create their own symbols inside their mind that mean certain things, like using sigils or something along those lines, right? So when you're psychic, you look at the world differently through a radical lens because everything has significance and everything has meaning, and everything that presents itself to you has some sort of message or lesson for us. So, this also translates to outside events, right? So, when negative things happen to us, psychics tend to believe that they happen to us for a reason because these negative situations or these events are guiding us on our path to our fullest potential. And so psychics tend to look at hardship as lessons, as blessings in disguise to redirect them on the path that they're really supposed to be on. Psychics also tend to look at negative situations and see how they can grow from those situations. Every difficulty that we face as psychics, it's a teacher, right? It's a lesson. It has something for us. As psychics, we don't sit around in victim mode and go, poor me, why is this happening to me? And maybe we'll do that for a little bit amount of time, but we don't do that for too long. We as psychics, we strive to find the hidden underlying meaning, the purpose, the message, the good and the bad with everything that happens to us in our lives. Number 2, nothing is separate from ourselves. So psychics believe that nothing is separate from ourselves. A tree is not just a tree. A house is not just a house. Everything has a soul. It's animistic in that way. And we see the objects outside of ourselves as simply extensions of ourselves that hold energy or hold resonances of energy, vibrations, frequencies, whatever you want to call it, all the same thing. And when we understand this, and we understand that all matter is vibrating at different frequencies, and therefore we are able to manipulate those energies and frequencies, we can actually influence and manipulate the world around us to achieve a specific goal or to gain a certain insight or to get a certain response, right? And so psychics perceive themselves radically as creators of our realities, and that we can utilize our realities to manifest, and that we can work in harmony with the spirits of whether they're animals or plants or high vibrational beings, whether that's the seen or the unseen. We work with all of those energies to achieve our goals, not just to better ourselves, but also to better the world around us. Number 3, psychics believe in divine design, and at least if they don't believe in that, then they believe in some type of otherworldly influence, right? I have yet to meet a psychic that says that they are not connected to their spirit guides, or that they've never had an experience where they talk to angels or their ancestors or any type of high vibrational being that's on their spirit team, right? So to be able to do that, it means that psychics have to have some type of faith or belief in some type of higher power. It doesn't mean that they have to believe in God necessarily, but they do believe in something bigger than themselves, and they do believe in a world that they can't necessarily see, that they can only interpret, right, through their psychic abilities. And when we understand that, we as psychics also radically believe that because of this, that the universe is conspiring, these forces outside of ourselves, these higher powers, are conspiring for our benefits always. And that is what that's in my opinion, what divine design is. There are forces out there that are inherently good and that they want to bless us and they want to help us achieve our mission, our divine life purpose on this earth, and just to manifest what we want and to help the whole world, right? That's part of what is being a light worker. All light workers are psychic to some degree, shape, and form. And we can work with these forces, these beneficial forces outside of ourselves. But to achieve that, as a psychic, you have to have faith and surrender to a power higher than ourselves, right? We have to believe that the universe is conspiring to create these beneficial things in our lives and that the universe is inherently good, right? Is benevolent. And that we have to believe that we can access these forces and we can direct these forces to deliver that goodness to ourselves and to others, right? So it's just a different way of looking at the world, a different perspective. Being psychic and really stepping into your psychic abilities and believing in your psychic abilities is more about your faith than anything else, and the belief in these things that I've mentioned earlier. So if you are actually curious about your divine life purpose, so not only does everything have meaning, not only does everything have significance, and not is only everything within divine design, but we actually believe, most psychics believe in this mobilization, if you will, of this inherent goodness, right? And that's what the light worker does. That is the role of the light worker. And this belief kind of carries through our divine life purpose. And when we go through difficulties, they are catalysts, right? To help us awaken to our divine life purpose. Outside external things can only really hurt us if we aren't awakening to that divine life purpose, because then it's just like, the universe is just going to come knock you harder and harder and harder on the head until you start listening, right? And or other people have said, and I've seen this said, there are codes that happen that in the programming, if you want to get to the whole matrix side of it, that we are implanted with these codes, and we can either activate these codes or we can just continue on with our lives and never understand metaphysics or spirituality or our role in the universe or how to make the world a better place, right? So if you are actually interested in that, in discovering your divine life purpose, I have a free informational course that you can take. It's called Discover Your Soul's Calling through Spiritual Life Coaching. And when you enroll, you'll get a PDF that has 11 signs that you aren't living your divine life purpose. And that'll kind of tell you like, okay, are you living your divine life purpose or aren't you living your divine life purpose? And it is just kind of 11 signs or, situations that I've talked to hundreds, if not thousands of people living their divine life purpose. And it's kind of like a summary of all the things that maybe we've gone through and these repeated patterns that we've gone through. Then you'll also get access to a quiz. And with the quiz, you can find out what your soul's calling archetype is. So there's 4 different ones. There's the healer, there is the warrior, there's the shaman, and there is also the mystic. Now, within these different archetypes are certain activations or certain, roles that you'll play out in your divine life purpose and ways that you'll help other people and certain modalities and ways of coaching people and ways to utilize your psychic abilities that are going to be unique to your certain archetypal code. And so you can actually be many different types of the archetypes. You can be a combination of them. Personally, I am a warrior, shaman, mystic. I'm equal warrior shaman, and then I have a little bit of mystic in there as well. So I'm curious what you are. So let me know in the comments below after you take that quiz. And then there's also a video that will go along with each of those. The final video will be filmed tomorrow. So by the time, if you're seeing this in the future, it's probably out by now. And then on top of that, you will also receive several short informational videos about how you can shift from being a psychic reader to being a spiritual life coach. And again, this is all in the comments down below in the description box, and it'll take you right to that quiz. So I hope you enjoyed this video today, and I will see you in the next one.